Yo guys, Beast, back with some more beastly content. Today I'm going to be telling you how to get rich in energy links extremely easy in Once Human. So we're going to cover two different things today. First things first, we're going to cover the weekly just allowance of energy drain or energy links that everyone is going to unlock. So there are three different locations in phase 1 that will allow you to sell items to NPCs for energy links, up to 50,000 energy links per area. There are 3 in phase 1. That means in phase 1, your energy link allowance is 150,000 energy links. I have hardly claimed any of those. I am going to be mentioning some phase 1 farms, as well as some really good ways of doing it in phase 2, as well as some Memetic specializations, all sorts of things you need to know in order to be making yourself a ton of energy links. Most of my energy links are actually from player vending, which we are also going to be covering in this video. The other thing I want to mention is that on phase 2 and up, you will actually unlock Oblivion as well as the Ground Unfallen locations. So both of these are going to have 2 more NPC vendors. That means your total allowance for Way of Winter is 250,000 energy links a week that can just be obtained by selling to vendors. Once again, during phase 1, you might not be maxing this out unless you get lucky and you get some nice memetics, but without further ado, let's get on into that. Alrighty, so first things first, there is the Precious Metal Memetic specialization. This is Precious Metal Refining, and this Memetic specialization actually unlocks at levels 20, 25, 30, and 35. Now, the next thing is the Combo Chipset Memetic specialization. This one is going to unlock at 20, 25, 30, and 35. For Crystal Transformation, it is 40, 45, and 50. So let me go ahead and explain to you these 3 different ones. So Precious Metal Refining is where you can mine for gold and silver ore. Now, gold and silver ore are rare ores that can be found. I do have some. I think we actually have a materials just going on here. I need to work on storage. It needs cleaned up. We are in the middle of like a base redo, so don't worry about this. And this is the wrong one. So here we go. So, as you can see here, I do have some gold ores and some silver ores, and if you got the Precious Refining Memetic specialization, you can make gold bars. Let me go ahead and tell you a really decent area you can go to farm gold. So, right here is the East Blackstone Teleportation Tower. So, usually I go here, jump off the mountain, and check like all in here. It can spawn anywhere from like here in this range. This is where the gold and silver nodes can spawn. You can reload the teleport tower, change worlds, and just explore through here. You'll get yourself some gold and silver. Another nice one that I always do is going to be actually just directly beside my base here. It's Frostforge Teleportation Tower. Now, when you do it, there's actually this like cave you can go down into, and there's going to be pre-generated ores there. It's going to range from tungsten, aluminum, silver, and gold. So, while it is only a once every 4 hours ore run, you're almost certainly guaranteed to get a silver or gold or out of it by doing it, and it's always worth doing because it's part of your loot farm anyway for phase 1. So yeah, that is it for the gold. On to the combo chipsets. So combo chipsets are pretty easily, upon unlocking the combo chipset Memetic specialization at the levels I mentioned, of having a chance to unlock it, you will be able to go into your crafting bench here and just make yourself, and I think it's either this or a furnace, but regardless, you can take electronic parts, and I think it's metal scraps, and turn them into what are called combo chipsets and sell those to the NPC vendors. I do believe they're worth like 10,000 or 8,000, something like that, energy links a piece. So definitely worth having, especially if you unlock it. So if you unlock that one, there's a very easy way of maxing out your vendors every single week. As for the other one, Crystal Transformation, this one will allow you to use, you know, the crystals that you use for like upgrading your gears. So we'll head over here real quickly just to show a reference. So you know these crystals here, right here should be. So like iridium crystal, platinum crystals, all those different types of crystals. Well, with this Crystal Transformation Memetic specialization, which unlocks at levels 40, 45, and 50, you will be able to transform those crystals into like purified crystals. It's some sort of crafted item, and you can sell it to vendors. Once again, I think it's either 8 or 10,000, maybe it's even 12,000 energy links per one, so you can get the easy 50k per settlement area. Super duper easy, no problem. But I think that does cover the vending section when it comes to Memetic specializations. One other thing I want to mention now is some starting energy link farms. So if you were just starting out and you're just needing like 10,000 energy links, and you are in Way of Winter, and I think you can do this in Memetic, but I don't know the tower location because I haven't played Memetic in quite a minute. So this tower location right here, actually, the Frostforged Teleportation Tower, is a god-like teleportation tower. Not only is it home to blueberries, where you can farm blueberries and then turn gravel into glass and make blueberry sodas, which can be sold for 5,000 energy links per 100 blueberry sodas. It also is home to the ice melon farm, so you can farm ice melons here, you can farm mints here even, and you can even farm your spike tomatoes. That being said, I have a way better location for mints, but you can farm your spike tomatoes here, and you can farm, most importantly, the ice melons here. And the only thing you have to do in order to farm these ice melon farms, or ice melons, is just run up and down this road. So all along the sides of this road, ice melons can spawn. And we're not gonna farm it long, because the only reason why I'm mentioning these ice melons is because if you are less than 24 hours away from phase 2, you can go ahead and start farming ice melons, mints, sunny ginger, and spike tomatoes. For the ice melons, your best bet for phase 1 is going to be right here. Once again, you have to be 24 hours away or less from phase 2, and the reason for this is because all of these items will expire in 4 hours outside of a fridge, but if you put them in a fridge, and as you can see here, here's mint as well right here, you can technically farm your mint here as well, and your spiked tomatoes. The only thing you can't farm here is sunny ginger, but if you put them in a fridge, they will last for an entire day. That is it. You can have up to a day cooldown. So if you're less than 24 hours away from phase 2, you can go ahead and have these farmed up now, and then when phase 2 drops, you can make an item by the name of the all-weather stew. And one other thing is, I know I just did the ingredients list and we're missing the key one being sunny ginger. Let's go ahead and talk about sunny ginger now. So right over here on the Onyx Tundra side of the map, there is the Camp Igloo. It used to be Ice House Camp. I swear it used to be called Ice House. Regardless, it's called Camp Igloo. And right here, you see this little marker here, this ginger mint. This entire field area here, I'm thinking even this one here, and even probably over here, I'm thinking just outside of the Camp Igloo, is a ton of both sunny ginger and mint that you can farm. So you can farm your sunny ginger and your mint here really quickly. For the ice melons, once again, there's Frostforged Teleport Tower. However, for spike tomatoes, I have a favorite location to go. So Greenfield Teleportation Tower, it's just outside of Wishland. All of these fields all in here have a ton of spike tomatoes. Another one to mention here, and it's literally from here, all of this field right here. This is like the golden spike tomato area just outside of Project Lost, or Paradise Lost, the event, you know, this little event area here. All of this right here, this is your spike tomato heaven. You will be able to gather hundreds and hundreds of spike tomatoes super duper quickly here. Like I said, for sunny ginger and mint, you can gather it here. And then since we are in phase 1, the current best spot to farm ice melon is going to be in Frostforged Tower. You're just going to run up and down this road. There's going to be ice melons growing alongside the road. You can get plenty of these stews farmed up. But the blueberry sodas, like I said, all you have to do is gather the blueberries around the Frostforged Teleport Tower, and you are going to have the blueberries gathered up for making the blueberry soda. The only other thing you'll have to do is get yourself a furnace placed, any furnace, and make yourselves up some stacks of glass, because you are going to need 1 glass and 1 blueberry in order to make these blueberry sodas. And like I said, you can sell the blueberry sodas for, per 100 blueberry sodas, a whopping 5,000 energy links. Definitely some good starter energy links to be made here, and let's go ahead and show this as an example. And as you can see here, we are just about to Ice House Camp here. Let's go ahead and enter here. We're just going to be selling these blueberry sodas for some quick energy links. Do you like my speedrunning tactics? Just so you know, I really don't think people are going to get banned for using Zapcan in PvE scenarios with his whole little speed boost thing, because it's no real difference than driving your car. It's just flying. And also, it's a PvE scenario, and everything's kind of like solo objective anyway. It's not really an advantage, it's just a time skip, and I don't really see other games banning people for using things like grenade jumping and things like that. But let's go ahead and sell these blueberry sodas and get on with it. Alrighty, and as you can see here, just real quickly, 45 energy links a piece. Like I said, this is a great way to get yourself some starter energy links made up. This is also not the worst way to do the cap for like the free NPC links. It's not my favorite by far. I don't really plan on doing it often. I prefer to do player vending, but with that, I do believe we are actually done with the NPC side of making energy links. We're now going to get on into the player-to-player market. Alrighty guys, so we are finally back in my territory, and now we are going to talk about something that I'm not going to list off every single Memetics level for. So first things first, there are all sorts of different Memetic specialization items that you can unlock that you can craft. So there's things like the electronics grabber. When it's in your backpack, there's a 30% chance to receive 1 to 3 additional electronic modules. These can be sold from anywhere from 3,000 to probably 5,000, I'd say, energy links a piece. I think I sell mine for 3,500, I'm thinking, a piece. Regardless, I make these as tier 3s. There are 3 different tiers to make. You want to be making these at tier 3s if you are selling these. I make them at tier 3s. I have a ton of Stardust ore. I just went and gathered it really quickly. There's actually like a really simple Stardust ore location. Do I still have it marked? There was someone's base out here a long while ago. It may have been here. Oh no, this is Ginger Mint. But somewhere out in here, there's a polluted area. It's where I got my Stardust source for those. But I sell those in my vending machine. Now, if you're wondering how to actually unlock the vending machine, it's very simple. You just click your O button on your Memetics, and you head on over here. And I think I actually usually just like click a certain button and it automatically takes me there. But I think it's logistics. So vending machine right here. I forget how many Memetic points it is. It's either 1 or 2, and it's 0. Oh, and we need to unlock that too. 1 cipher. We don't have it. Oh my god, we don't have a wish machine. That is okay. But as you can see here, we're selling all sorts of different things in here. We're selling electronic grabbers. There's the chef's knife. That's another Memetic specialization item that you can have. We're also selling featherweights, spring legs, and udder lights. And I'm selling these for pretty cheap because, well, I have a ton of them to make, and I just figure people might want these because they're very helpful items to have. Very important whims. I'm going to tell you how I have so many of those, how I'm able to get more, and things like that. Now, there's also the Memetic specialization of the harvest sickle. These are tier 2s. It doesn't really matter, tier 2 to 3. I'm not going to use gold on harvest sickles, but I'm selling these for 3,000 energy links a piece. This is another Memetic specialization. The snow trekking gear is also a Memetic specialization. I also have one that I'm going to be making during the second phase of the season because I'm doing a bounce build that is enhanced portable turrets, and it allows you to use them 5 times. 1, that's one of the perks. 2 of it, it will take any of like the effect that the weapon has and use it on the turret. So these turrets will have bounce and will be triggering bounce alongside my gun. So those are also an item that can be sold for a ton of energy links. Like I said, all the different Memetic specialization things that you can unlock, you want to go through here when you're picking out your Memetic specialization, like solar drills, for instance. On phase 2, I'm also going to have solar drills for sale. Now, I don't think I have treasure hunter currently, so I'm not quite sure how much that matters to me, but we might see if we can get treasure hunter, because usually when people sell drills and chainsaws, they usually like to sell them with treasure hunter on them. Treasure hunter is a perk that gives you like an additional yield. Now usually when I do treasure hunter, I'm just selling advanced drills, but yeah. Now another thing you can do is sell Stardust source, and there's a couple different Memetics that you can use to sell Stardust source, and I'm going to tell you the levels to unlock them, and I'm going to cover both of them firstly and just explain them as core systems and how they work. So here we go. There are 2 different main ones. There is the Stardust pumps. I love Stardust pumps. It's my favorite way of making Stardust source. Some oil processing people might argue with you, but for the Stardust pump, it is unlocked from levels 20, 25, 30, and 35 Memetic specialization slots. So hopefully you get the Stardust pump. If you get the Stardust pump, let's go ahead and cover the entire system here. So I am working on my build here for my base, so we got a farm going on there. We're not going to look at this too much, but we're going to head into this little cove we have here going on here. These are Stardust water pumps right here, and if you put 1 battery in them, they will produce 80 Stardust source. There's 4 slots, and you can get 4 slots to fill just by spamming the fill button. It's the only way to do it currently, but it does work. And if you get a bunch of these storage batteries made up, and storage batteries can be made in the intermediate supplies bench right here. Storage batteries require steel ingots, rubber, acid, and electronic parts. An easy way to make the rubber a little bit less demanding to get, and I like to do it especially if you have an alt, is you can make up to 20 containment silos per alt you have. I like to take an alt and then maybe get a buddy to join my hive, and I'll use his containment silos, and I'll have 40 of what are called the paper doll deviations. So we should be able to build one of these just so that we can take a look at the paper doll real quickly. Paper doll is obtainable just by farming things like Wishland or any of the other point of interest. Frostforge, I'm pretty sure, has dropped me a paper doll. All the other lower level area ones, there are some paper dolls. Hive Rail has paper dolls, but paper dolls will automatically gather materials, and they'll bring back things that you can disassemble, and one of the main materials they bring back is rubber, which is a super saver for this farm here for the storage batteries. When you're doing the Stardust pumps, what you want to be doing is hitting every single point of interest every single day, or even every 4 hours if you're really that into it. You need to hit every single one of them. But if you don't want to hit every single one of them for phase 1, my recommended point of interest, if you're not trying to hit every single one, is going to be Frostforge, both sides of Wishland, because it's just OP, Hive Rail, and really you can stop there. There are other ones like Fisker Harbor. There's also one over here I almost never hit, which is the Avalanche Exclusion Zone. You could hit all of these other areas for even more materials to be farming up for these storage batteries. The other thing to mention about storage batteries is you're going to need a way of getting some acid. Now, if you want to do this in phase 1, your best bet for farming up some acid, provided that you still have the season inheritance points and didn't blow them all like most of us, is you can actually teleport in an item. I think that's also, it might be phase 2 locked, but it might actually unlock in phase 1, but it's probably a phase 2 unlock. And what that is the deviated pork chop. And let's see if we even have one. Yeah, we have some. So 200 points per transfer point, and it lasts for 30 minutes, and it's going to increase acid gain by 50% when defeating deviations. Now, or deviants. And when you're doing this, what you want to do is, when you're doing your point of interest, you're going to get these things called Northern Refinery permits. So I have a total of 6 of these, and you're going to use these on workshops. Now, for phase 1, my favorite workshop location is actually located just outside of the Waterside Teleportation Tower. That is right here, the Barque Farmstead Workshop. You'll just drive up to there. There will be this thing in the middle of the workshop. You're going to go ahead and interact with it with the F button. It's going to ask you to use a permit. Hold F to use it. You can skip the combat, or like the prep phase, because you don't actually have to do any building. You should build defenses if you're low level, but if you're not, you can skip that. You'll get your acid from here. Super duper easy, no problem. But that is pretty much the end of the Stardust pumps. The other thing I like to have is a Digby setup, usually like 5 or 6 Digbies going on, because they'll collect the iron that can be turned into the steel plates, and you'll have passive steel plates that way. But on to the other one, which is oil processing. This Memetic specialization is one that people like live by. So basically, it requires you to build your base in a polluted area. Upon then, you're going to go around looking for rainbow ores. You're going to go around and you're going to harvest these rainbow ores, and you're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Now, once you have thousands and thousands of these rainbow ores, you need to start building water pumps. And just kidding, you should have built in an area that's actually harvesting barreled fuel, because you're going to need 50 mixed fuel, and it's either, I think it's 50 mixed fuel, it might be 15. Regardless, it's an X number of mixed fuel and an X number of Stardust ore in order to make, I think it's 50 Stardust sources if I remember correctly. I used it one season, I hated it, but apparently there's a way to do it really good. Another way that people live by is having an alt and then having 20 containment silos that all have this deviation called tar pudding. Now, one note on tar pudding, if you want to know where to get a tar pudding, and I do recommend you to get this tar pudding, by the way. First of all, the first clear of tree ant is guaranteed to drop a tar pudding. Tar pudding automatically generates mixed fuel. This can help you for having fuel for your vehicles, so it is worth doing tree ant for the first time and getting the tar pudding. But if you are an oil processing user, you might want to be getting yourself more like 10 to 20 tar puddings, placing them all in a container, and that way you're going to have yourself some passive mixed fuel. As for the Stardust ore, if you don't want to live in a polluted zone, you could have like a specific place you go to farm the Stardust ore. People sell the Stardust ore. Not only do people sell the Stardust ore though, Stardust ore can also be mined using Stardust mining platforms. Now, I'm not going to tell you the Memetic specialization level because I don't feel like looking over on my other tab and scrolling down to see it, but I am going to leave a link down below that shows you all of the levels for all of the Memetic specializations and where they can unlock. You can just hit Control F on your keyboard and search up what Memetic specialization you're looking for. Just type like a keyword that should be in the description or the title of it. You'll be able to find them easy peasy. Down below, there's that list of Memetic specializations. It is updated for Way of Winter, so it does have only the Way of Winter ones included. It should also have Manibus, but I digress. Oil processing, levels 20, 25, 30, and 35. So, with that, we have covered the items that can be made from Memetic specializations. We've covered the 2 different Stardust source methods of selling, manufacturing the Stardust. Now, let's go ahead and cover a bit about the price of Stardust source itself. So, the price of Stardust source can vary. The lowest price I've ever seen for Stardust source is per 1 Stardust source 30 EL. Per 1 Stardust source high point, I'd say the highest I've ever seen is 100, but the highest it should be probably fairly is 50. So let's say you made 4,000 Stardust source, that's going to be 4,000 times 50. $4,000 times 50 is 200,000 energy links, just off of making 4,000 Stardust source. In order to make 4,000 Stardust source on the batteries, it would require a total of 50 batteries. Now, to put that in full perspective, we're just going to do the rubber cost and the, so we're going to quickly just go double check there, but we're going to do the rubber cost and the, electronic part cost for that. So it's 500 electronic parts and 1,000 rubber. That's all you're going to need in order to make 200,000 energy links off of the Stardust pumps. And of course, you're also going to need, I think, 1,000 acid, which once phase 2 unlocks, you will be able to build the thermal tower. Unlock, it's like a level 5, 6, or 7. One of the 3 perks you can unlock on there, though. And when you unlock it, it's going to generate 1,200 acid a day available to collect from your depot. So that can make the storage battery super duper easy to farm. Now, one final thing I did just remember we needed to explain here was other things you might want to do. So when you start the season, you might want to bring yourself in a Space Turner. That being said, Space Turner can be farmed in Silo Delta. And the reason why he can be farmed in Silo Delta is because Silo Delta is an RNG deviation silo, which means that every single time you challenge it at a certain point in the silo, there's a chance for a random deviation to spawn. It can drop the Space Turner. It can actually drop the Frog the Leaper. I think it can actually drop the Disco Ball. I've never seen it drop Pup Buddy. Pup Buddy is a PvP scenario mainly, but also there's a way of unlocking Pup Buddy in Manibus that involves going to locations and hoping for rare enemies to spawn and hoping that they drop the Pup Buddy. But as you can see here, these are the 3 deviations that I would corely recommend for you to bring if you have them, because when you bring these, you will be able to craft different whims. Now, for the Disco Ball, he allows you to craft the Utter Delight whim. This one will extend other whims' durations by 35%. For Pup Buddy, he generates what is called Featherweight. This will give you a max load of 50. You can see where people might want to be purchasing these. Now, I've seen on many servers 1,000 to 2,000 energy links per whim on this. Like I said, I have friendly pricing. 400 energy links a piece, I think, is friendly pricing for whims. I might even lower it to 200. We will see, but 400 seems fair to me. But bringing a Disco Ball, a Pup Buddy, and a Frog the Leaper is something you can do to help yourself out. And any other whim-generating deviation, because all of these whims can be sold in your vending machines, even at a low of 400 energy links a piece, still is going to add up quickly. All it really takes is harvesting these guys and then gathering yourself up some acid, and you'll be able to make these whims. And that is one final thing I think I want to get on into, and what I'm actually going to go do after the end of this video is, if you're looking for a way of making the whims and getting the acid for the whims and the acid for everything else, like the Stardust storage batteries or anything like that, anything that you're working on there, you're going to want to go do workshops. And like I said, we're going to go do the Barq Farm Steed home the farm seed workshop here. We're going to go to Waterside and we're going to go do that. And that's going to be where we're going to be farming up our acid for the Whims here, guys. Now, the other thing is you could just go to Wishland and bring yourself some deviated pork chops, especially once you're in Phase 2. You can bring deviated pork chops into Wishland. But once again, once you're in Phase 2, you will unlock the Thermal Tower, which will allow you to unlock a certain perk on it that allows 1,200 acid a day to just automatically be created in your depot, able to be collected every single day, 1,200 acid a day. It's amazing, guys. But I do believe I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to go get on workshops. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.